right, I think we're live. Okay, just checking. I'm noticing these things are interesting to jump right into the Facebook Live and then realize that it's not recording yet, so I think we're good. Hi, and welcome to my Facebook Live. This is number 79 in an ongoing series of Facebook Live talks, and this I thought would go back to the beginning in a way. This is called Messages from the Masculine, and the subtitle is To Inspire the Feminine Heart. And this part of my message, and when I talk about what I'm about, and say I'm a passionate champion for the divine feminine, it was kind of like, what does that mean? Why do I do it? And so I thought I'd better do a talk about that, which is why I'm here today. So, my name is Barry Selby. As I mentioned, I am a passionate champion for the divine feminine. I help strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. I'm also a best-selling author and speaker. And I'm dropping the word coach for now because that term doesn't work so well for me. So what I mean by this, or I should say what's triggering or inspiring this, to say the least, let's just say this. Have you watched the news lately? In this wonderful place of the United States, there's been a groundswell of upset, of force againstness, I'm trying to be polite using terminology, but basically there's a lot of rage and upset happening, and it's mostly among men. Yes, there are women along for the ride, but they are sure not in their feminine, and that's one of the challenges that's happening right now. And I'm not saying that there should be marches and demonstrations by women being their feminine, although it could be worse. But what I am speaking to is there's a call that's coming out. In my work and in my service to women, in support of them as friends over the years, in coaching as well, in speaking, there's a piece that's become very evident to me, and it's what started for me back in 2007, which is why I'm so passionate 10 years later doing this, is I started to really become aware of and in deep admiration for the feminine in women. And I've talked before about how there's masculine and feminine polarities are generally between men and women, or there's sometimes reversed, and there's masculine energy more in women and feminine in men. But I'm talking about how the power of the feminine that expresses itself through women, specifically in this talk, and this line of thought, shall we say. So, in the journey I went through of discovering about being a masculine man, which is what my evolution has been massively the last, well, certainly back around 2007, 2008, 2009, and since then, to embody and live it, I've really felt this incredible joy and peace at the same time to reside in this place in me, to shift in that place. And when I recognize women in their feminine, which happens more often, thankfully, it's a great reminder of what's possible. And I'm not talking about relationships in this context. I'm talking about just honoring ourselves and honoring each other in our true nature. And I've shared before in this broadcast about how there's the evolved masculine and the unevolved masculine, or the developed and undeveloped, same as there's the unevolved and evolved feminine, and developed and undeveloped feminine. And by the way, I want to let you know I don't have a destination yet in this video in my mind, so I'm just letting it come out until I get to that one, so bear with me. I'm aware that women have been trained and indoctrinated and educated by society to conform to a certain model, which is either to be the girly girl woman, or act like the men and put on the pantsuit and dress like men and copy them, and become very successful, but at the price of their femininity. Neither one is really truly the feminine. What I'm describing in this context is the feminine woman who is owning her magnificence, which is an energy that is, well, it's hard to put it into words, but to articulate it is the power of nature. It's the power of the divinity of who she is, expressing in all her actions, in her beingness, in her words, in her way of being and moving and functioning in the world. What's coming up for me now is I'm actually, thanks to my coach, putting together a program that's going to be for women called Feminine Divinity. Now, the first question that's going to come up for you, I know, is like, why is a man teaching this? And why is a man about this in the first place? The reality that I'm aware of is there are women out there leading women's groups, helping them be more feminine in business and in life and in love, which is wonderful. What I'm also aware of is there are men out there who are crying out for women to be in their feminine. Yes, there are. I'm one of them. And also, I'm not willing to sit by and watch and wait for that to happen. I'm stepping up in my own work, in my own calling, to serve in a bigger way. And I've done a couple of broadcasts that got lots of attention. A few months ago, one was about feminine shamanism. That was surprising to me. One, that they got the attention. Two, that there was so much content I could come through with. And three, that it was landing the way it did. So this is a shout, what's the word? A call back to that, but also what's going forward, which is a calling for me that I must be out there doing this. And I'm looking for you to be in support of that. In fact, I'm inviting the ladies who watch this to reach out to me to speak to me about this, because I can feel out there so many women have been off track because they've been trained to be that way. Not saying it's a fault at anybody's. But as I said at the beginning about what's happening in this culture right now, what happened last weekend in Charleston, and Charlottesville, excuse me, not Charleston, Charlottesville, and what's been starting to brew since then, and all the other talks are happening. There's a lot of raging men out there who aren't in their masculine. Let me be clear, they're in their machismo, in their selfish attitudes about themselves and not being inclusive. And I think the healing agent, the transformational agent for this country, is the divine feminine. That's really where I feel the power is coming from. It's not going to be from men and other men negotiating. It's going to be for the feminine to step up, to take its place, the feminine energy to take its place in the women in the world, and particularly in this country, to bring together that connection, that unity that is required for us to come to peace. What happened last weekend was not an aberration, unfortunately. It was a expunging an expression of hate and upset that's been sitting there for a long time. And I feel a lot of the healing is coming from the feminine part of the population, the feminine energy in the women, which is why I'm doing this and why I'm talking about this now. This, for me, is probably the biggest stretch, the biggest risk, but the biggest work I've ever done. And what I'm leading into is creating a program that's going to be a 4-month program probably. I'm still playing with this in my head, but what's coming forward is something called feminine divinity, for women to own their gifts in the world. From a masculine voice, yes, from a masculine heart, from a masculine man. All these things that don't make sense, maybe yet, but hopefully these talks will express that as I go forward. So this is a step in that direction. It's a leaning into that expression to let you know, ladies who are watching, if men watching too, that I stand for you in a masculine heart, for the feminine power, the feminine authority, the feminine divinity that has been ignored, that has been suppressed, that has been sidelined, and that has been neglected in this world. This is the most important time perhaps ever, to this point where women, I'm inviting you, that you're called, that your feminine strength is requested, required, and beseeched to come forward. It's time. Now, before some of you who are watching this go, but it's women's rights, it's not that energy. Women's rights happened, in quotes, with the sexual revolution of the 60s. That was a big wake-up call for women and for men in Europe and in America, for women to suddenly get their own individuality and their own independence. But I'm not talking about that. This is another level, another layer, perhaps the next evolution. Because we've had, over the last, last 100 years, 150 years, the suffragette movement, which is women's ability to vote. And there's one before that I'm missing. It will come back to me, I'm sure. The sexual revolution of the 60s, women getting independence. There's a third one I believe that I'm missing somewhere. It'll come back to me in a moment. But the fourth one is women stepping into their femininity of truth. And this is not the goddess movement, which has become big in the last 10 years, which I love dearly. It's beautiful. But the goddess movement is simply a slightly sideways path for women to remember their softness and their power that is in that softness. But now it's time to bring it into the feminine, which is actually more the priestess energy, if anything. If I described it in a previous Facebook Live as a blend of a queen, a warrior, and a priestess. That's the feminine energy I'm talking about, and I have more tools to bring to the table and to share with it as we go forward. But I want to express this now just because it's bugging me, just sitting with it. So you, my lovely audience, get to watch me express it out and get it out as any way it comes through. But it's becoming more alive in me as I speak about this, and it's becoming more real. And I think by recording this, by recording this for myself, for you, but particularly for myself, it's stopping me from hiding. It's forcing me to speak about this and put me out there, because as I'm putting together what's coming through me, and I've been making notes today, this is part of the like avoiding hiding method, if that makes sense. So, as I've said in many of my videos, I've said it quite a few times, you know, my name is Barry Selby, I'm a passionate champion of the divine feminine. Well, this is why, and this is what I'm doing. And it will not stop, will continue. This is my calling and my passion. So, that was it, I guess. It wasn't like I was going to teach you lots of tools, but it's more about just a declaration for my own benefit, if nobody else's, hopefully for you too. And if this speaks to you and if this value to you, please reach out to me. Please message me. The ladies especially, I want to support you. I want to be there to support you and your feminine, because frankly I want to witness your feminine magnificence shining brightly in the world and saving our planet. Yeah, it's a big mission. But let's start with this country first, shall we? So that's my verbal expression for the afternoon, my daily Facebook Live. If there's somebody you feel should watch this, please share it with them. It'll be on Facebook, it will also be on YouTube later on. And these are my daily talks. This is number 79 in an ongoing series of Facebook Lives called Messages from the Masculine, and this one is The Reason Why. So thanks for watching. I'll be back in tomorrow probably, because I'm planning to do this every day still. I've done 79, well, 60 of those in a row. This is number 79 ongoing series, and I'm doing these daily. So let's see if there's more of this coming through. Thanks for watching, and thanks for at least listening to my message. If you want to support it, I appreciate that too. All right, I'll be back in tomorrow. Take care. Bye.